welcome you with us here on stage, and I would like to also express how grateful I am to moderate this session and honored to be part of this discussion. So I'll do my best to navigate with you and try to ask all the questions that everyone has in mind. So starting, I think the GCC region is undergoing profound changes. The post-pandemic era has sparked massive and fast transformation, challenging governments and societies to redefine what success looks like. This shift has given rise to several transformation themes that are shaping the landscape, and one of the notable areas of change is digital transformation. These aren't limited to the field of technology alone, of course. GCC countries are taking comprehensive transformation in the sectors as oil and gas as well. So starting with you, Your Excellency, I think Thamir has mentioned a lot of collaboration that's happening and a lot of integration. So from the public sector, let's say, you've played a huge role in the public sector. What would you say that this collaboration is actually looked like, and what is exactly the impact of Vision 2030 on the public institutions, not only the giga projects and the private sector and the new development projects?
Excellent. Thank you for the question, Iman, and allow me to say thank you to the Harvard Club of the GCC as well as the Harvard Club of Saudi Arabia for putting together such a marvelous event and a great attendance. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with my esteemed colleagues. To put it in one word, it's been transformational. Transformational in terms of governance, in terms of mindset, and in terms of outcome and impact. We've recently celebrated the 9th anniversary of King Salman's reign, and 2 days into his reign, he made a major decision to restructure the Saudi government, namely by establishing two councils, the Council of Security and Political and Security Affairs, and the relevant council to our discussion today, which is the Council of Economic and Development Affairs. Fast forward 13, 14 months forward, Vision 2030 was announced in April 2016, as mentioned by my colleague Thamir. And along with Vision 2030, multiple things happened. It's not only the goals, it's the programs which help invest in the execution and the governance of the programs. And also, these programs were collaborating with execution entities like the ministries and the various authorities. Central government entities were created, such as the Center of Government Performance, ADA, which used to issue reports and created that mindset of measurement, mindset of follow through, and making sure that we have a structured way to measure, manage, and follow up. And I remember getting, the first report when I joined the government. I had been interacting with government for 21 or 22 years before joining the government. And I remember my colleague Thamir was not very happy with me and my team.
How did he rate you?
Because we started from a very difficult place at the time. The report was full of red marks, simply because we were new to this governance model and this approach. However, it took mindset of partnership, of collaboration, holding hands together to make sure that we walk through the journey of achieving what is it that we needed to achieve. And as a result, we didn't only focus on the various goals and initiatives that we had seen in Thamir's earlier presentation, but also we started to work together to increase the institutional resilience of the government ministry that I was working in. So we started to invest in building a strategy, aligning the strategy with the goals of the vision, making sure that we have really a sense of excellence, a sense of alignment, a sense of structured approach to improving our services and ability to execute on the vision. As a result, we created a strategy, and then also we seek the help of Professor Kaplan from Harvard to help us with the execution framework. We created a vision, mission, 16 goals. I still remember the statistics. 16 goals, 133 layer 2 goals, about 579 projects in order to create that institutional excellence and resilience and capability. In terms of outcome, we have achieved many things. Part of it is women participation in the workforce, the investment in women leadership, also the number of volunteers increased hundreds of times. Also the number of NGOs in the kingdom increased by the thousands. And at the same time, the number of digital services, to be specific on the statistics, year 2019, we had only 259 services in digital space. By the time I finished my duty with the government, we had north of 1,600 services, with a satisfaction rate that was being measured on regular basis, which is close to 90% in terms of citizen and expatriate satisfaction. So governance, mindset, and impact, a sense of collaboration, a sense of complementarity between the various government entities, both in central government, in the vision realization programs, and in the execution entities, really made the difference and started to achieve the impact that was desired by the leadership.
Amazing. This is confirming on the enablers that you've mentioned, Mr. Thamir, in your speech. But unlike a lot of these achievements that actually is a quick win maybe and showed results through those projects, I'd like to ask Mr. Suliman. He's the CEO of the National Development, of the National Industrial Development and Logistics Program. This seems to be a long-term project that to show results. You're not focusing on maybe quick wins, and these types of projects will take longer. How would you describe your achievements since launching the projects, and what are the challenges that faced by the program so far?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you for Harvard GCC for having me. Thank you for having this great event. Our appreciation to His Royal Highness for sponsoring us, and considering the amount of talents I see in the room, I'm trying to WhatsApp my HR director to pick some of the resumes, because we need such talents in the program. But your question is very long, so I'm trying to capture some of the lessons of Vision 2030 on NIDLP and on other programs too. I think the belief system is what matters. Our leadership believes on the country and ability to achieve ambitions. The talented teams that we get from every private sector, NGOs, and governments who work together to achieve this great vision is another belief system that changed the whole aspect. And there is the old saying of necessity is the mother of all innovation. I believe that's an short thought statement. I think ambitions is the mother of all innovation. And I think that's what Vision 2030, that we have the right ambition that gather us all, the right purpose that we work for, that connecting us to that. And from that comes the long-term plans that we know where we are going. So we celebrate milestones. We celebrate every step in the way. We trust that we are going in the right way. And since the launch of Vision 2030, we have seen quite a number of milestones and results. In NIDLP, we aim to be an industrial powerhouse and a global logistic hub. That's a very bold statement from the Kingdom of Saudi, to be an industrial powerhouse and a global logistic hub. However, considering the amount of resources we have, location of Saudi Arabia, and based on the plans that we've been working since 2017, it's quite an achievable targets. Every target we put in 2020 and 25, we already exceeding them today. For example, non-oil exports was doubled since the Vision 2030. We were 200 plus, now we are 440, and we're still seeking for 600 and above by 2025. The number of created jobs, more than 500,000 created new jobs since the launch of the program. And this directed to mining, industry, logistics, and energy. These are developing areas in Saudi Arabia, and these are economy development drivers. And these 500,000, 50% of them Saudi and female and male. The percentage of female Saudis used to be 17%, now is 23 on these sectors. And these are not an easy sectors, it's in remote areas and different locations. But yet our female Saudi shows a great talent to cover that areas. GDP contribution, more than 35% of the GDP, non-oil GDP, is contributed by the NIDLP program and NIDLP sectors. We come to investment. Half trillion of investment been done since the launch of the program. We started in 2018, and now in 23 we are talking about around 500 billion riyal of investments, and these among all the four sectors. So that's the level one of how we measure ourselves. We are an economic program. We measure ourselves against the macroeconomics, but also we have our own targets when it comes to number of logistics hubs, number of industrial cities and special economic zones, and our international KPIs, whether it's a LBI, the Logistic Performance Index, or the ease of doing mining, ease of doing industry, ease of doing logistics. So we've been trying to measure ourselves against international KPIs, local KPIs. And just to highlight what the program is doing compared to the entities, the real heroes on Vision 2030 is the people on the front line working on in the mining, logistics, energy, and in industry. And what we have seen that the closer you are to the private sector, the shorter you are to the vision. And that's the magic of Vision 2030. One of the success factors that has been highlighted by Thamir and His Excellency Muhammad are quite significant. But one thing I would like to highlight is moving from mandate-oriented to objective-oriented. That's a total change on the vision theory of change. We used to have a ministry with a mandate. So who is responsible for industry is the Ministry of Industry, or who is responsible for energy is the Ministry of Energy. The vision changed that aspect to be objective-based. we all have objective that everyone can contribute to, whether private sector, public sector, NGOs, individuals, even our international partners. I still remember His Excellency Khalid al-Falih when he came from China. He said, the President of China is asking His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman to be part of Vision 2030. That's a quite significant that even international partner, president of countries would like to participate in Vision 2030. So being objective change the whole aspect. We make us move faster because we move together as all nations. That's what makes long-term plans works because we all work toward them.
Thank you so much. I think tapping into diversifying economy, we've seen a lot of focus on the Vision 2030 on developing regions and developing cities and investing a lot in the infrastructure of tourism, of attracting investors and creating opportunities in the region. So I'll move to you, Engineer Hashim. Recently, the Aseer Development Authority has been launched with a very ambitious vision and strategy with a budget of 50 billion Saudi riyals. Can you tell us more about it? Where are you at implementing that strategy, and what are the key highlights?
Thank you, Iman. First of all, thank you to the HBS Club of the GCC for hosting this event, and His Highness the Mayor of Riyadh for رعاية المنتدى هذا. I wasn't going to plug the Aseer Development Authority, but when my friend Suliman Al-Mazroa plugged his HR department, I thought I'd mention that as does the only regional authority in Saudi Arabia that has won the Best Place to Work award. And I claim that we probably have the lowest turnover among any government agency in Saudi Arabia, and we are hiring. We grew from about 30 to 180 employees in the past 2 years. But I'll stop at that before Iman stops me. To Aseer, the Aseer region in the southwest of Saudi Arabia is unique in many ways from all the other 12 regions in Saudi. It's mountainous, it's got diverse topography, it has forests, it has coasts, it has deserts and everything in between. So this has set Aseer apart. And it reflected on the tribes as well, because the tribes in Aseer are sedentary tribes. And the reason they're sedentary is because there's more rainfall, and so they're associated with lands, in contrast to maybe some of the more nomadic tribes in other parts of Saudi Arabia. This has been the case for centuries. Vision 2030, of course, started in 2016, and it started centrally, but it very quickly spread to the other parts of Saudi Arabia. There was a pivotal meeting that took place at the very end of 2018 between His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, and Prince Turki bin Talal, who's the governor of Aseer. The Crown Prince tasked Prince Turki with two things. One thing is to see a strategy or to draw a strategy for the Aseer region, and two is to build and head as chairman the Aseer Development Authority. So what has happened since then? The strategy has been built. It's the first and only strategy to date in Saudi Arabia that is approved by the central government. ASDA has been built. Today, as I said, we are 180 strong and we continue to scale aggressively. With regards to the women empowerment, actually our chief of planning and development is a lady and a wonderful one at that, and she's a Harvard graduate, although not from HBS, it's from the Graduate School of Design. While the strategy was being built, while ASDA was being established, His Royal Highness Prince Turki had the foresight to work on the infrastructural enablers that needed to be in place no matter what strategy was approved. So we're talking about transportation, talking about communications, we're talking about utilities like water and electricity and so on and so forth. So what has been the results of all this? I think over the past few months, we've seen a lot of these results. Some of these main projects have been announced. The Abha Airport is expanding from a capacity of about 1.5 million visitors per year to about 13 million per year. A Suda project, which is in arguably the most beautiful part of Saudi Arabia, has been launched with an investment size of 10 plus billion riyals. Same with the Ardara project, which is truly iconic. I claim that Abha city, the capital of Aseer, is going to be not the most beautiful city in Saudi Arabia by 2030, but the most beautiful city in the Arab world. It is truly remarkable. The river that used to exist many decades ago, that ran through Abha, will be brought back. And on both sides, you will have residential, you will have commercial, you will have agricultural, you will have social developments on both sides. And it's focused on people and pedestrians, not giant roads and cars. So I invite you to come to Abha today, but in the future, you're going to see something truly remarkable. I think I can speak more, but I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. And so if you allow, Iman, I'd like to show a short video that maybe gives the audience a flavor about the major projects that are taking place in Aseer.
So I'll ask the team to play it. I mean, I love Abha. It's a beautiful city, but I'm biased to Suda.
Of course.
Thank you so much for sharing such a beautiful video summarizing most of the great projects that you guys are working on now. And I think a massive transformation project such as Vision 2030 must come with the challenges. I mean, there are great achievements, of course, that needs to be recognized, but what are the challenges that the vision has came across, and how did you pivot from, especially after COVID, and how did COVID actually as well affected achieving those KPIs?
Bismillah. I mean, congratulations on the video, and it's impressive. And you can see this in every region. Every region, there is huge construction and huge movement. And reflecting back, now I have been blessed that it's more than 7 years since I joined the national transformation, moving from the private sector. And it is a remarkable journey. We still have a lot to achieve and more to deliver. And I believe one of the key challenges is change management. Coming up with this bold transformation, eventually people need to believe in it, and also they need to change. And these are the people who will execute it. So one of the early things that we have done is when we started the National Transformation Labs, is that we got all the ministries along with the private sector and non-profit in the same building. And it was for 2 months. So this is, again, breaking silos and making sure everybody works to each other, reduce the bureaucracy. You need something, you go to your colleague from the different ministry next door, working together. It's shared targets. But also, to make this systematic, it was important, the vision realization programs, the role we play, the vision realization offices, which are the change agents within the ministries to make sure this is continuous. So that was, first challenge. Second, I think, was capability building. Eventually, you need people who will own the strategy and own the execution and have a skin in the game. So that was key. To get started, it's always good to get expert feedback. You get consultants to help you, you benchmark to see what others have done, but then eventually you need to have, capable people who will deliver it. So this is something that we took our time to do it. I think since 2018, I'm happy that everybody working on the National Transformation Program Center is 100% talented young Saudi men and women. So it took us time, but we wanted to make sure that we have the right capability and people who have skin in the game. Last but not least, I think is the focus on execution was key for us. Sometimes you have a planning fatigue. You plan for too much and you have maybe nice strategies. So one key thing is that we wanted to focus on execution. 10% planning, 90% execution. So that was key to us, is that, as they say, you don't have to be good to start, or you don't have to be good to start, you have to start to be good. So this is something that we wanted to focus, and we built the right routine in place. Having the routine is critical, where you have, as His Excellency mentioned, you have the quarter reports, you have the stock take where you review, you have the escalation mechanism, you have the risk plan in place. So building the routine that we have a close follow-up, and everybody knows this is the time will come, we'll ask for updates, we will follow up, we have escalation program. So that's in a nutshell.
Your Excellency, do you agree with these challenges? And from your point of view, what are the challenges as well?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to, I think one of the key challenges that I have seen in addition is the need to continually optimize. So a plan, when it's approved, or a strategy, when it's approved, it's only the beginning. You're going to face roadblocks in execution. You're going to find out that also you have achieved some numbers faster, and some numbers our targets are going to take longer. So this continuous agility of optimizing the plans is a key success factor, I believe, and a key challenge that any government official is dealing with on a day-to-day basis. I also second Thamir's point about capacity building and capability building. And we used to spend a great deal of time to reskill and upskill our existing talent pool inside the ministry, whereby we introduced professional certifications in project management and performance management, in customer service, in customer experience measurement, and so on. And all of these are international certification programs. By the time I left the ministry, we had more than 2,000 certified men and women inside the ministry. And this is not coming out of the blue. This is a key integral part of the vision. And there is money being invested by programs such as NTP and NIDLP to improve the capability and the capacity of the various government institutions.
And you mentioned, Your Excellency, the customer experience, and you're part of the society, the Saudi Customer Experience Society. And Thamir mentioned a lot about ease of doing business. I think my question is to Suliman and Hashim. How important creating those opportunities for collaboration and attracting investors in your industries, and what are you doing, or in your programs, and what are you doing to shape those opportunities?
Well, I think you need to start with the investor lenses. You need to look at the subject from the investor lenses. And for us in our sectors, mining, industry, logistics, and energy, risk, return, and growth. That's the basic attractiveness of any investor. So how we minimize risks, amplified return, and provide a growth market to the investors. And this is how we designed our initiatives. We reverse engineered this to the NIDLP initiatives. So we started by first having the right both government and infrastructure ecosystem. So we started having the Exim Bank to make it easy for the exports to other countries. We started to add more layers to our infrastructures, digital infrastructures, gas systems, energy, clean energy systems to our infrastructure. Also, we get advantage of the quality of life program where we introduce it to our industrial cities and services. So that was the first part of the story, putting the right ecosystems, including academies and entities, building infrastructure. Then we start having the right regulations to ease doing business in Saudi, and that's include the mining law, the custom clearance, and all these factors. It used to take 288 hours to clear any custom in Saudi. 288 hours. Now 2 hours. We are and Germany competing in this new target of 2 hours. That's how we start to make it easy for the investor. Then we start working closely with the investors. We have the partnership in logistics council. We have the partnership in mining council, where they meet every month, and all the feedbacks come to NIDLP system. We look at the challenge. We try to fix it. We give it to our committee and resolve it. More than 300 challenge that came to the system in the past 2 years, and all of them resolved. That's being close to the private sector, make them feel that they are in the right hand. This is the environment that they want to be. And finally, to be honest, our value proposition is too good. Being in the center of 3 continents, having the raw materials of the world, whether it's non-metallic or metallic, we have the petrochemical, and we have the Arabic Shields full of raw materials, our young youth talents that's available in the country, our purchase power from the government, from the projects that were mentioned by Thamir and Hisham. These are huge purchase power available in Saudi. So why would any investor not come to Saudi and enjoying this value proposition and be part of this Vision 2030? And you know what's good about Vision 2030? That's, yes, it is for Saudis, but it's addressing all the international community's challenges too. We are the top looking for the clean energy. We are the top when it's come to human lives, improving human lives. We are addressing the first ever urban planning that's developed for Saudis in Neom. We have most or the only green hydrogen factories on the world that happening in Saudi. So clean energy, human lives, improvement, and also participating in deep tech research and development in every factor we have. So why would someone miss such opportunity?
Amazing. And from a tourism perspective and also development perspective, Mr. Hashim, can you tell us more about what are the opportunities available for collaboration with international partners or investors that Aseer is planning?
It gives me a lot of pleasure to talk about this. I thought when I took this job that it would be a challenge to engage with international investors and collaborators, and what I found is exactly the opposite. They are very excited about the proposition in Saudi Arabia. Speaking on behalf of Aseer, of course, I think the proposition is particularly compelling. I spoke about some of the projects that were launched recently, all in the $1 billion or $1 billion Riyal plus 10 billion Riyal plus range. I can tell you that there will be further announcements about other very large projects with international investors that compete very effectively with our regional competition. So the proposition is there, the desire is there. Maybe one element that I don't think any of us have touched on right now, but to me is probably the most important, is the newfound sense of optimism, pride, and loyalty to cause, which we now have. This, in my opinion, is what really sets apart the current era from years past. And this translates into everything that we've been talking about in terms of KPIs, in terms of projects, in terms of investments, and in terms of everything else.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank you, our panelists. We don't have a lot of time, so I don't want to upset Jesse. We have 3 minutes, so maybe we can get one question from the audience. One. I promise.
From a lady, because I'm biased. I said it.
Hello. My name is Maria. I'm, first of all, really happy to be here, and I really enjoying this session. My question is, as I understood, it's a big welcome to the world to be able to support in the Vision 2030 in a very empathic way, what I really love, what I hear today. My question is, what is the next step into action? Let's say someone want to help. What is the channel? What is the place that we can communicate, that we will talk to the right person straight away? Because we know it's a big ecosystem and it's not easy to reach the right person. So have any technology, anything that are being used today to reach the right person in very fast way, because we have so many opportunities today.
Okay, so I'm assuming you are an investor.
I'm a human being in this world. Yes, I'm an investor. I take care about many ecosystems. I'm connected to governments and many things.
Sure.
So
from a business perspective,
okay.
and this is, I think it was a pivotal moment when the Ministry of Investment was established 2020. So your first point for business, I think, is the Ministry of Investment. We launched Invest Saudi. So this is where you can see the opportunities that is available for the private sector, local or international, where they can invest and be part of. So the first point, I would say, Ministry of Investment, they are, customer oriented and they are excited to help you. And then if you are local, then again, there are so many ways to support. If you are a local and you want to be part, giving back, we have our volunteering portal, for example. If you are expat, Saudi, where you can see the opportunities that you can contribute and be part of volunteering. So you have the volunteering portal. And there are other venues. I think I will stick to that answer. The time is running. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right on time. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, my panelists. Thank you.